Hi everybody, and welcome to this quick video about a recap on what happened at the Copiosis Demonstration Project participant meeting last Saturday. We had a great turnout. Over 11 people, I think, showed up. I just want to check my notes so I make sure I get all the details correct. We had 11 people showed up in a spirited conversation about the project details, how the project is going for everybody, and addressing questions people had relative to their participation and to Copiosis in general. Like I said, we had 11 people showing up, and that included participants' spouses. We had 2 people participating from outside the project. I'm sorry, 3 people participating from outside the project. We also had 2 guests show up, people who are not directly involved in the project or even directly involved in Copiosis, but interested in finding out more about our innovation and what's happening. So that was pretty cool too. The spirited conversation that we had mostly revolved around the difficulties people are having distinguishing MBR from money. So a lot of times online in the internet, we get a lot of comments from people who have the mistaken belief that MBR is equivalent to money, and it's not. So, for example, one of the questions that people were asking in the meeting on Saturday was, how does the gateway, which is the amount of MBR a person needs to have in order to obtain a luxury, how does the gateway affect the amount of MBR the producer receives when he or she does something that benefits people or the planet? And the answer to that question is it has no effect whatsoever. The gateway is simply a function that drives certain types of people to do things that make people and the planet better off. The amount of MBR that is established for the gateway determines how much someone must do for other people and the planet in order to obtain that luxury. So in a way, it's kind of an external motivator. It has no impact on how the algorithm calculates MBR reward for the product or the service that the producer is offering. And this is one of the difficulties that people are having in understanding the difference between what they know about capitalism and money and what they're learning about NBR and Copiosis. We also talked about what Copiosis promises. And these kind of conversations are always exciting for me because they inspire me, they re-inspire me actually, with regard to how people are viewing Copiosis and what's possible in the future. So we talked about having all necessities provided at no cost and what that means for people's livelihoods, what that means for what people would actually do with their lives when they don't have to work to pay their rent or their mortgage or to afford groceries or things like health insurance. It just opens up the field for people to be able to do things that they really want to do, mostly those things that we talked about doing when we were kids, but now we can't do because we're so mired in having to take a job in order to earn a living or to pay off college debt or something like that. So we talked a lot about the dream nature of Copiosis and what's offered there. I also talked a little bit about how the algorithm produces the net benefit rewards. And I know that a lot of people on the internet are asking this question too. And the MBR training that I'm going to be producing shortly for people who want to participate as part of the pair organization is going to go into great detail on that. But in this meeting on Saturday, we also talked about that too, about all the specific variables and how we come to arriving at the values for those variables. By the way, I produced, I think last week, a video that included a recording between myself and Amelia, a member of the pair organization, where we actually walk through that process. So there is a video out there right now that specifically details how that process happens. But if you're interested in learning more about how that works, I'm going to be producing a training video that goes into enormous detail. Nevertheless, it was an interesting conversation that we really didn't get to finish because it's actually quite an involved process creating the variables necessary to allow the algorithm to produce the net benefit reward for a given action. But we did start that conversation. We'll probably pick it up again next month. As a result of participating in, actually, this is a good example of how MBR is nowhere near equivalent to money. The trying to make the comparison just doesn't make sense. And this is what I'm about to share with you will give you an example of that. Each participant who attended the meeting yesterday receives, according to our calculations that the pair organization and I did this morning, each participant will receive 710 NBR for their participation. The person who coordinated and hosted the meeting, her name is Amanda, she will receive a total of 1,071 NBR, which includes the 710 BR for her 10 NBR for her participation, plus an extra amount for the effort she put forth in coordinating the meeting. That was sending out emails, sending out reminder emails, and then actually hosting the meeting at her home. And then in addition to that, everyone who brought refreshments to the event, to the meeting, will receive 164 NBR, particularly because of the nature of the snacks that people brought. Rather than bringing like chips and salsa or macaroni and cheese or macaroni salad, people put a lot of time into producing really tasty vegan, natural superfood type refreshments, which was really fantastic. And then some herbal teas and water, of course. And so everyone who participated in bringing some sort of refreshment for the participants will receive 164 NBR. So that was basically it. The main points of the meeting were NBR is not money. The Copiosis demonstration project is going really well. We're learning a lot, both on the psychological and emotional side, and about our conditioning that we've received in capitalism, and realizing more about that conditioning and what we need to do to move out of that conditioning, and the success of Copiosis worldwide, and also how it's going in the demonstration projects. So there's some more detail that I'm going to include in the post on the Facebook page, both in the Kenton Copiosis demonstration group and in the Copiosis social group. Please feel free to check out those details. And if you have any questions, you can ask them in the post, and I will get back to you on those. Thanks a lot for watching.